friends, and welcome to the CUInsight Network. I'm Robbie Young, Vice President of Strategic Growth at CUInsight, and on this show, I have conversations with thought leaders who support the credit union community. We'll identify issues affecting credit unions and discuss best practices, and so we can all learn and improve. My guest on today's show is our very own Whitney Bedard, Vice President of Marketing and Digital at CUInsight. Whitney, thanks so much for both being here at CUInsight and then also being a guest on the podcast today. I'm really looking forward to our conversation.
Same here.
So most of us didn't grow up thinking we would work in credit unions. What did you want to be when you grew up?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind that I remember vividly wanting to be is an opera singer. So pretty similar to what I'm doing now, obviously. No, I just used to sing on the top of my lungs at the bottom of the stairs as long as I could until one of my parents inevitably told me to stop. But I wanted to be an opera singer and then I think probably a veterinarian.
I don't remember this coming up on the icebreakers questions, but I'm glad you brought it up now. So what was your journey like to get to the current role that you have now at CUInsight as Vice President of Marketing and Digital?
Yeah, so I graduated from Bryant University in 2009. So tough time to graduate with 2008 crash, and a lot of marketing departments were really consolidating their resources. So I was finding that a lot of departments, unless you knew a little bit about everything, it was really challenging to really come in as a fresh grad. I grew up in a household of bankers, I know, and I ended up working for a credit union, actually. My mom, one of her best friends, worked for a credit union. They were hiring and ended up getting a job at St. Mary's Bank, the nation's first credit union. Shout out to them, as a teller. And, that wasn't my dream job graduating from college, but I was very grateful to have a role and had some great leaders there, and immediately came in and said to the marketing team, I reached out to them and was like, if you need any help of any sort, like I want to build my resume, put me in, coach. And to my very pleasant surprise and excitement, right away, they were like, yeah, well, we can give you some time to work with us. So I spent about half my time as a teller and half my time in marketing. And it was actually a really great intro into my career because not only was I able to dip my toe into marketing, but I was also seeing the fruits of our labor on the teller line. So there was a lot of print happening at that time, digital signs. And so really seeing the work that we were doing, like fresh in action, utilizing the take ones and all of that. But then from there, they weren't able to take me on full-time in marketing. That was obviously my goal. I ended up getting a job actually as a store manager at Target and got great retail experience there. Amazing training program at Target. A lot of key takeaways. Feedback culture. They have an amazing feedback culture. At least they did when I was there. And great leadership. I was leading people of all different backgrounds, ages, experience levels. Got a lot out of that. So I really enjoyed it, but retail hours, as many of you know who've had them before, are a real grind. And I just knew for my future, I didn't want to be working long nights, weekends, tons of hours, all over the place with not like a set schedule. So I started working at Oracle in sales, software sales. I think any marketer should work in sales at some point in their career because, and Robbie, you'll appreciate this now where we're at, I think it is so important for sales and marketing to just be fully aligned. Like sales and marketing should be talking every day, in my opinion, because everything that we're doing should be marching in the same direction. And there should be no question as to what our goals are collectively. So I think it was really great for me to be able to work in a sales environment to understand how does sales operate? What are their goals like? What are they doing in the day-to-day? And then really bringing that back from a marketing perspective to focus on sales enablement. So after my time there, I got back into the credit union world. Someone who I worked with at St. Mary's was hiring a marketing role, asked if I knew anyone who was looking, and I enthusiastically raised my hand and started working at Northeast Credit Union. So I worked there doing market research. I was doing a lot of things there. As most of us credit union marketers, we put on a lot of hats. So I was doing product marketing. I was doing a lot with loan marketing, market research, of course, events, and then did move into the event space and eventually was AVP of marketing there. Fun fact, I was a boomerang there. So I was there, left to do a stint in real estate for a few years, and then came back and just had a really great experience there. Felt really valued, grew a lot in my career, just got more excited to be in the credit union industry again. It's such a welcoming environment and really does feel like I hate to say a family because I think it's really cliche sometimes, but I do feel like it's a group of people who just really are marching in the same direction. It doesn't feel super competitive or fake. It just feels like we all are marching toward the same goals. And I really appreciate that. And then went into a digital marketing agency where I was director of client services. So I oversaw all client interactions, and then ended up back in the credit union world. I felt like, I was missing my credit union people, and this was a great opportunity for me to bring back my expertise there, but also really the sales experience I got at Oracle, the leadership experience I had at Target, and just all the things along the way. I was really able to bring back and flex into this role and get to work a lot with you, which is a big bonus. So yeah, that's why I'm here.
I think we listed that in the job description that a bonus was working with me. So that is really good that we were able to round that out.
Yeah, that was a top bonus.
So typically this is where I would ask my guest to tell me a bit more about their organization and how it adds value to credit unions. But I thought I could change it around a little bit, since actually I'm curious, since you have new eyes on the CUInsight team, coupled with your background in credit unions, what do you think the biggest value proposition CUInsight provides credit unions?
I think during my time at a credit union, like I said, I think a lot of communication, marketing teams, sales teams are pretty lean. So you don't always have all the time, effort, and resources to be able to get all the information, know everything that's going on. And I think CUInsight is just that kind of like silent partner, if you will, that is always there feeding you the information you need to make informed decisions, to stay on top of industry trends, industry laws that are in action, anything that's really important to know as a credit union leader or an emerging leader, someone who's just, hey, I'm in it for the long run in the credit union industry. I think we're a great partner in helping teams make informed decisions.
Yeah, I really love that. I kind of looked at it as daily professional development in bite-sized pieces. So having worked in marketing roles directly for credit unions, what are you finding most rewarding about working alongside credit unions?
Well, I know I mentioned this a little bit before, but I really feel like the credit union industry, we're really truly marching in the same direction together. We collectively believe in people helping people and advocacy and member experience just being top of mind in all that we do. It just always feels like that is a common thread amongst all credit unions and then folks supporting the credit union industry as well. So I really appreciate that. I feel like when you have a conversation with someone in the industry, it's coming from a place of like caring about who we are, the essence of the credit union and what we do, not just like, hey, what's your loan portfolio? It's not really a, numbers discussion per se. I think it's really just about, how are you all doing in your community? What does your growth look like? I just think it's the approach that credit unions take just feels very warm.
I would have to agree with that statement. What are you most excited about in terms of opportunities for the continued and growing impact that CUInsight can make for the credit union space and supporting the people in the movement?
I am excited about a lot of things that we are working on, but I would say the things that come most to mind is I think we're always looking for ways that outside of, making sure that you're understanding the latest news, we're really wanting to be true partners to all of the credit unions that we work with the best that we can. So whether it's making sure the things that you're doing are being highlighted and put on a pedestal, it's sharing of information. Because like I said, I keep coming back to credit unions, like really feeling like a place of wanting to march together and in not super competitive. And I think that we really are a hub for that sharing and like-mindedness. But I think that when I think of what I'm most proud of that we're currently focusing on, we have a really great program, Collaborators. If you haven't looked into it yet, it is a program where those in the credit union industry who are partners, those that we have all, trusted at some point, looked into or are interested in, we're giving them a special platform within our site to be able to have a hub for their specific information and things that are important to them. So two that we have, right now that many of you have hopefully heard of are DCUC and Level 5. And it really gives them a space to be able to share the news that is important to what they're doing share in a way that reaches their audience, but then our shared audience as well for those who maybe haven't heard of them, and a platform to really showcase the important work that they're doing to move the industry forward. So I think a lot of what we're doing, we're always just trying to move the industry forward collectively. And I think that the Collaborators program really does that well. So I'm excited to see where that goes. And again, if you haven't checked it out, really look into the Collaborators program that we're focused on. Also, the events that we do. I came in so impressed. Shout out to Linda, because she is like the queen of events. The events that we do are so top-notch, well done, impressive. So whether you're someone who's interested in doing an event with us, I mean, the amount of compliments I have seen in the short time I've been here on just how well executed they are, how well prepared all of our presenters feel is amazing. But then on the flip side, for the attendees and just being an attendee myself to these, I'm like, wow, these are just so well done. I feel like instantly I'm getting things out of them. I put myself back in the mind of like being in the credit union itself too. And I'm regularly thinking like, oh, that would have been so great to have, or I would never thought of something that way, or I can apply that right away. I feel like the events are just really impactful. And I know that when we're collectively looking as a team for who are we going to have at these events, we're really trying to think of people that everyone hasn't already seen before, or that come with a really unique perspective that's very actionable. So yeah, I'm really excited about our events, and I'm really excited about the Collaborators program as like two things that really come to mind.
Well, I am also very excited about those and happy that you're here to help us build them. As we wrap up the show, I'd like to have some fun with some rapid fire questions to let our listeners really get to know you better. The questions are rapid, but your answers certainly don't have to be. Do you think you're ready?
Well, obviously I'm very long-winded, so thank God for that. But yes, I'm ready.
Okay. So who is someone in your life that is or was a great leader, and what makes them great?
So my Yaya, Aphrodite Blatsos, was an amazing leader. She was first generation Greek. She came here. She couldn't speak English. And even from a young age, she used to always tell me this story. She was in second grade and she couldn't speak English. And she was really frustrated about it. And she told her dad, I'm not going to school anymore. I just want to speak English. I want you to only speak English to me in the house. And right away, like you changed that dynamic. And she was just very proud from a young age. And so she learned obviously English. And she was a mother of three. Her husband, my papu, was a major general in the army. So obviously he's a great leader as well. But she led in a different way. She was one of those like silent leaders, but very effective. She always gave everyone the benefit of the doubt. I feel like she was really open-minded about everyone she met and how she approached them. She was never someone who was quick to judge. She worked really hard, but wasn't boisterous about it. She never was like, woe is me, or, needed a pat on the back. She was just a really hardworking person. Their family had a restaurant. I know, you're like, whew, shocking. So they had a restaurant. They were a Greek family. Her father opened it in Manchester, New Hampshire, and it was very successful. So she always says, like, people used to joke with her that the greasy spoon put their kids through really great education. And she put a lot of love into that restaurant. She oversaw it all, did all the bookkeeping, and was really proud of it. So she was just an amazing leader. Loved her very much. She was an amazing yaya, just a tremendous human. Everyone always had great things to say about her. And she really just taught me to listen with intent, work hard, and just be a good person.
Well, I can say that Yaya did a great job from what I've known so far. If you're going to splurge on something and you really want to treat yourself, what's one thing that you might invest a bit in?
I don't know if it's investment from a checks and balances per se, but vacation is just something I always feel like if I'm going to spend money on it, I want to travel. So that would be one thing. And then for an actual item, I don't know what I feel like I'm not very good at like buying myself a lot of things lately. Probably books or garden supplies. That's where we're at in life right now.
Yes, Whitney is a mother, as am I, both two daughters. So the time we spend on ourselves is probably a little bit lacking, but it's just that season of life.
Yes.
So If you're traveling for work, what city are you most excited to visit? Whether it's going to an event or a conference, what would be the city that you really enjoy going to?
Well, I haven't been there, but when I was in my interview process, Greg was in Hawaii and I was feeling pretty jealous about that. So I would say if I ever get the opportunity to go there, I would relish in that. But really, coming from New England and it being March currently, just anywhere warm is preferable. So I will just go anywhere warm at this point.
Shout out to Q Symposium. Greg was actually attending Q Symposium at the time, which is held in Hawaii. We'll make sure to link that in the notes so everyone can also put it on their list for next year.
Yeah.
What is one book that you think everyone should read?
You know, a book I really love that I just got done reading is The Women by Kristen Hanna. It is about Vietnam War and the women's role in the war as nurses. And I learned a lot just about Vietnam itself as a country, the war, but it was so interesting to hear just about the women's role in it when they were there. And then when they came back, it was just a really powerful and great book. And I think everyone should read it.
We'll be sure to link that in the notes. What is your best hack for creating a balance between your work life and your life? If there is a balance, I'm not sure that I have one. So I hope to learn a little.
Well, maybe you haven't seen this side of me yet, but I think that one of the most powerful things that anyone can do to create balance is learn the power of no. And what I mean by that is you don't have to be a great leader. You don't have to be an effective person and not be able to say no to things sometimes, or not right now, or I don't think this is the best idea. So I think how you put things on your plate, whether it's in life or not, like sometimes I say, you know what, I can't have my kids be playing 7 different sports right now. No, like that's just not going to happen. I love them. I will give them great things in their life, but no, I can't do that right now. Likewise with work, if there are a lot of things being put on the plate that maybe, no, I can't do those all right now. And I think that creating that balance, you have to be able to learn when to say no in life, outside of work and in work too. And I'm not saying it's like a hard no in either regard. It's just, no, right now, I just can't put that on my plate, or something else has to get off my plate, and really being an advocate for yourself. And I think you can still be a really hard worker, super productive, but understanding the power of no as a full sentence.
I love it. So my last question for you is, do you have any final thoughts or anything you'd like to share or ask for our listeners?
Ooh, let's see. I would want to know from our listeners, just now being new here at CUInsight, is someone I used to work with. Shout out to Pete Jocelyn, Marilyn Mims. They were in our learning and development department, Lighthouse Credit Union. And one thing they used to always say is feedback is a gift. So I say it all the time because I truly believe that feedback is a gift. And I would just welcome feedback from any of our, whether you're a subscriber, someone who just follows on casually, someone who's a super fan. And I just would love to get regular feedback as to, what do you love about what we're doing? What are things that we could improve on? What are some ideas that maybe you've had that like, oh, I wish they would do that. So, I really welcome feedback. So that is something that I would say would be great to get. And if you do want to give any feedback, my email is wbedard, Bedard, at CUInsight.com. I'm sure we'll link that as well. But I do welcome your feedback. And I think it's really important to get that for us to continue to grow. And we'll, of course, be putting things out there to collect feedback as part of my role here. But really welcome feedback for us to continue to grow and value it from all of our partners.
I can confirm that she is honest when she says that. Thank you again, Whitney, for being on the show. And thanks to all of our listeners for tuning in to the CUInsight Network. We'll be back again next time.